Hi there. Tonight we will take you on an epic sea voyage involving Dutch explorer Abel Tasman, best known for his voyages in the 1640s, during which he was the first European to sight Tasmania, New Zealand, Tonga and the Fiji Islands. But before we start, let me know in the comments where you are and what time it is. And if you enjoy our storytelling, then please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Now, let's proceed with the story. The Grey Beyond, a captain's chronicle of discovery and loss. Logbook entry, August 14th, 1642, Batavia Harbour, Dutch East Indies. Latitude, 6 degrees 8 minutes south. Longitude, 106 degrees 48 minutes east. Weather, warm, humid, morning haze over the harbour, light, easterly breeze. At first light, the harbour of Batavia greeted us with its usual hum, the cries of distant gulls and the steady rhythm of merchants readying the day's trade. The Heemskerk and Zeehan lay moored alongside the bustling quays, their timbers creaking softly as if waking from slumber. Palms swayed gently beyond the warehouses, and the air was heavy with the scent of spices, sea salt, and the ever-present humidity that clings to these equatorial shores. I, Abel Tasman, captain of the Heemskerk, accepted the weighty honour of command with quiet resolve. Our task, to seek and chart the fabled Terra Australis, that great southern land whispered of by mariners and scholars alike. The Zeehan, captained by Gerrit Janszoon, readied her sails beside us, her crew a mirror image of our own steadfast preparation. Farewells were brief but sincere. Friends and family stood silently on the docks, pride mingled with the unspoken fear that lingers before long voyages. Gerrit clasped my hand firmly, his voice a rough comfort. "Steady winds, Captain. May the seas be kinder this time." As the sun rose higher, our anchors were drawn, sails unfurled, and the ships began their gentle drift from the safe embrace of Batavia. The town's vibrant colours softened behind us, soon swallowed by the morning mist and distance. The sea opened before us, vast and uncharted. Logbook entry, August 18th, 1642, navigating the Sunda Strait. Latitude, approximately 6 degrees 20 minutes south. Longitude, 105 degrees east. Weather, warm, steady easterly breeze, scattered clouds. 4 days out from Batavia, we have entered the great Sunda Strait, the final gateway to the Indian Ocean. The mood is one of focused vigilance. The high green coasts of Java and Sumatra loom on either side, and the men are watchful as we navigate the channel. Ahead, the volcanic peak of Krakatoa sends a thin plume of smoke to the heavens, a solemn landmark bidding us farewell from these familiar shores. Amidst this watchfulness, life aboard finds its rhythm. Hendrick's attempts at a stew with salted pork and coastal greens brought a mix of polite smiles and curious glances, a small comfort as we leave the land behind. Young Jacob, ever eager, continues his studies of the heavens, though the patient Cornelis must still offer quiet corrections, reminding him that these new southern stars will only become familiar in time. As night fell, the ship met the first long, deep swells of the open ocean, a powerful greeting from the vast empty sea that now lies before us. The timbers creaked a new song, a lullaby for our passage into the great unknown. Logbook entry, September 5th, 1642, Mauritius Island, Indian Ocean. Latitude, 20 degrees 17 minutes south. Longitude, 57 degrees 32 minutes east. Weather, warm tropical sun, gentle trade winds, scattered clouds. After weeks upon the open sea, the welcome sight of Mauritius rose slowly from the shimmering haze, a jewel of emerald hills crowned with clouds, surrounded by calm, turquoise waters. Our spirits lifted at the sight of land, a sanctuary of rest and replenishment amid the vast and merciless ocean. We anchored carefully in the sheltered harbour of Port Louis, the gentle lap of waves mingling with the calls of exotic birds and the rustle of palm fronds. The island, lush and vibrant, seemed a world apart from the spices and bustle of Batavia's harbour. Provisioning began at once. Fresh water, fruits and timber were brought aboard. Barrels were filled, sails repaired, and rigging inspected. From the governor of Mauritius, we received valuable charts and maps of Portuguese origin, hand-drawn sketches that promised a clearer and safer path through these uncertain seas. These precious gifts were met with gratitude, for knowledge of these waters was scarce, and the voyage ahead uncertain. The crew took the chance to stretch weary limbs upon solid ground, their laughter and chatter a balm against the endless rhythm of the waves. Hendrik, ever the enthusiast, sought local herbs and fruits, eager to experiment with new flavors and recipes. As the sun dipped low behind the island's peaks, the sea breeze carried a fragrant mix of salt and flowering blossoms. The calm here offered a brief respite, yet my mind remained fixed on the course ahead, the unknown southern waters, the fabled Terra Australis, and the promise of discovery that called us onward. Tomorrow, with stores replenished and charts in hand, we shall raise anchor once more, sailing into the deep south where few have ventured, guided only by the stars and our resolve. Logbook entry, September 20th, 1642, anchored in Warwick Haven, Mauritius. Weather: clear skies with a steady southeasterly breeze. The air is warm but with less humidity than the Indies, making for pleasant conditions ashore. The governor has proven to be a man of great foresight. Today he entrusted to us a treasure, a great sea chart of Portuguese make, its vellum marked with the elegant script of our rivals. But upon this foundation, the latest discoveries of our own VOC ships have been carefully added in a familiar Dutch hand. For hours, my officers and I have had it spread across the great cabin table. This composite map is a marvel, confirming the known coastlines of Africa and the Indies, and showing the shallow reefs and western shores of the land our countrymen call New Holland. It is the sum of all who have sailed before us. Yet its true value lies in what it does not show. Beyond the last known cape of New Holland, the chart is a vast, empty space. South of it all there is nothing, just the elegant, hopeful script of the original mapmaker, Terra Australis Incognita, the unknown Southland. Looking at that blank vellum, one feels the weight of our task. These charts will guide us to the edge of the known world. After that, we make our own map. Logbook entry, October 8th, 1642, departure into the Southern Ocean. Latitude, approximately 20 degrees 30 minutes south. Longitude, 57 degrees 45 minutes east. Weather, fair, with a brisk southeasterly wind. Swells building from the south. After a month of rest and replenishment, the order was given at first light to weigh anchor. With practiced determination, the crews of the Heemskerk and Zeehan set the sails, and we slipped past the protective reefs of Warwick Haven for the last time. The emerald peaks of Mauritius, our home for these past weeks, slowly dwindled behind us, becoming a smudge on the horizon before vanishing entirely. Our course is now set due south. We must first seek the tempestuous latitudes of the roaring 40s, where the strong westerly winds will, we pray, speed our passage east towards the unknown continent. The men are in good spirits, yet a new sobriety has settled over the ships. All know that every league we sail will take us further from the sun's warmth and deeper into the embrace of the cold, choppy seas that guard the approach to Terra Australis. The time for rest is over. The great search has begun. Logbook entry, October 27th, 1642, the Southern Ocean. Latitude, approximately 43 degrees south. Longitude, 92 degrees east. Weather, a fierce westerly gale, mountainous seas, slate-grey skies. For nearly 3 weeks we have sailed south and east into this unforgiving realm. The warm sun of the tropics is a distant memory. Now the wind howls a constant deafening tune through the rigging, and the sky is a permanent mask of grey. We have found the roaring 40s. The Heemskerk and Zeehain pitch and roll relentlessly in the grip of the massive swells, their timbers groaning in protest. The men are constantly cold and damp, their movements heavy in their woolen cloaks. Yet their resolve is hard as iron. This violent wind is the very engine we sought. Every league it pushes us east is a league closer to discovery. Logbook entry, November 15th, 1642. Eastward in the grey. Latitude, approximately 44 degrees south. Longitude, 130 degrees east. Weather, overcast, biting wind from the west-southwest, intermittent icy rain. The ocean has turned a deeper, angrier shade of grey, and the cold seeps through every seam and plank. For weeks, we have seen neither sun nor stars, navigating by compass and dead reckoning alone. The unending, monotonous motion of the sea is a greater trial than any storm. It wears on the soul. The cook does his best with salted meat and hardtack, but there is no joy in it. We are simply enduring, pushing ever eastward into the vast blank space on our charts. There is nothing out here but the sea, the sky, and the grim determination to see what lies beyond the horizon. We watch for signs, a different bird, a piece of floating weed, anything to suggest we are approaching the shores of the great Southland. Logbook entry, November 24th, 1642. Land at last. Latitude, approximately 42 degrees south. Longitude, 145 degrees east. Weather, clearing skies after a storm, a cold, sharp wind from the southwest. After 47 days in the unforgiving grey of the Southern Ocean, the cry came from the masthead at 4 in the afternoon. Land in Sicht. The words, land in sight, struck the deck like a bolt of lightning. Men dropped what they were doing, running to the rails to stare east. And there, beneath the clearing storm clouds, it was. Not a mirage, not a low bank of cloud, but land. A great mountainous coastline, its high peaks jagged against the sky. It is the Southland we have sought. A quiet awe fell over the ships. After so much emptiness, the sight of solid earth is a thing of profound wonder. The air itself seems to have changed, carrying the faint, clean scent of cold stone and forest. A world away from the salt and spray that has been our life. The coast appears wild and inhospitable, beaten by the sea and offering no immediate shelter. We will hold our course for now, following the coastline southward, praying for a suitable bay to anchor. But for tonight, the men will sleep with a new hope in their hearts. The blank space on the chart is beginning to be filled. Logbook entry, December 1st, 1642. Sanctuary. Latitude, approximately 43 degrees 1 minute south. Longitude, 147 degrees 50 minutes east. Weather, winds easing, cloudy with sunny spells, sea moderating. After the trial of Storm Bay, we have finally been rewarded. For 2 days we have sailed north along this eastern coast, and today we found what we have been searching for, a wide, sheltered bay, protected from the ocean's swell. The water here is calm, the anchor holds fast in good ground, and the shore is lined with tall, ancient-looking trees. The relief on board is immense. The simple stillness of the ship is a blessing we had almost forgotten. We have named this place Frederick Hendrick Bay, in honor of our prince. Tomorrow, weather permitting, we will send a party ashore to explore and search for fresh water. Logbook entry, December 2nd, 1642. A land of giants. Weather, overcast but calm, a light breeze from the west. This afternoon we sent the cockboat ashore with a party led by my officer Gilsamans. Though I remained aboard, their reports have filled me with wonder. They found no people, but they found signs of them everywhere. They described a forest of towering trees, bigger than any in our homeland, some of which bore carefully carved notches ascending their trunks, a ladder for climbing to heights we could scarcely believe. They heard strange bird calls and saw the tracks of unknown animals. They also reported seeing smoke rising from fires deep in the woods. There are people here, of that there is no doubt, but they remain unseen. The party returned with a collection of wild greens, which Hendrik the cook is already examining with great interest. Logbook entry, December 3rd, 1642, for the company and the prince. Weather, a strong onshore breeze with a heavy surf breaking upon the beach. A frustrating day. A powerful southerly wind has churned the bay, and the surf crashes upon the shore with such violence that it is impossible to safely land a boat. Not to be deterred from our purpose of claiming this land, our ship's carpenter, Peter Jacob Zoon, a man of stout heart and limb, volunteered for the task. Stripping down, he took up a pole bearing the prince's flag and plunged into the frigid, churning water. With strong strokes, he fought his way through the breakers. We watched from the ships, our hearts in our throats, as he was tossed by the waves. At last, he found his footing and strode onto the sand. He planted the pole firmly in the earth, claiming this vast new land for the Dutch East India Company. He then swam back to the boat, exhausted but triumphant. The men on both ships let out a great cheer. We have left our mark. December 5th, 1642. Departure from Van Diemen's Land. Latitude, approximately 43 degrees 5 minutes south. Longitude, 148 degrees 15 minutes east. Weather, clear but cool, with a steady westerly wind filling our sails. At first light, we raised anchor from Frederick Hendrick Bay. The rugged coastline that has been our home and our adversary for 11 days, still cloaked in morning mist, slowly receded behind us. Its cliffs and forests, now pondered and partly known, faded into the western horizon, leaving only the vast, empty sea before us. The men settled into their duties with a quiet resolve. Old Gerrit the boatswain oversaw the rigging, while Martin the carpenter, his duty on the ship as steadfast as his courage on the shore, inspected the timbers for any strain. There is a sense of accomplishment among the crew, but also of profound uncertainty, for our charts are now useless. We sail into a truly unknown sea. Our course is set due east. The steady westerly wind is a blessing, pushing us onward into the vast blue expanse. As twilight fell, the now familiar southern stars emerged one by one, our only guides in the immense darkness. With every swell, we trust in God's grace and the promise of new discoveries that lies somewhere beyond the dawn. Logbook entry, December 10th, 1642, sailing eastward beyond known shores. Latitude, approximately 41 degrees 30 minutes south. Longitude, 168 degrees 0 minutes east. Weather, overcast, cool air, with a strong and steady westerly wind at our backs. For 5 days now, we have pressed steadily eastward, driven by a powerful westerly wind into seas beyond the edges of all charts and tales. The ocean stretches vast and unknowable before us, its depths hiding secrets no man has yet seen. The men grow quieter, their faces etched with a mix of anticipation and unease. Though our course is sure, the unknown looms, no word of what lies beyond, no promise save the steady turning of the stars above. The sea, ever relentless, crashes against the hull with both fury and lull. The wind whispers of change, and the salt air carries a tension that is felt as much in the heart as in the bones. Though fear is not spoken, a quiet weight settles over the crew, a shared respect for the vastness and mystery that surrounds us. Still, the call of discovery drives us onward, a steady flame in the dark unknown. Logbook entry, December 13th, 1642. First sighting of Nova Zealandia. Latitude, approximately 40 degrees 45 minutes south. Longitude, 172 degrees 0 minutes east. Weather, clear skies, brisk southwesterly wind, cool, sharp air. At dawn, the watchman's cry rang out, breaking the quiet morning with a sharp, clear call. "Land ho!" drawing every eye to the horizon. There, etched against the pale glow of the rising sun, a rugged coastline revealed itself. Steep cliffs crowned by dense, dark forests spilling down to meet the restless sea. The ocean, vast and unforgiving, had been our constant companion for weeks, its endless expanse both awe-inspiring and humbling. Now, the promise of solid ground stirred a quiet reverence among the crew, mingled with a cautious curiosity. As we drew nearer, the waters warned with hidden reefs and jagged rocks, demanding careful navigation and steady hands. The Heemskerk and Zeeheim held their course, sails full and taut in the brisk southwesterly breeze. Slender columns of smoke rose from the forest's edge, signs of life, unseen but unmistakable, a reminder that this land was home to others long before our arrival. Upon sighting the rugged coastline, we noted its resemblance to descriptions of Staten Land known from earlier voyages. Though far distant from the Americas, it is possible this land is connected or the same, as charts remain incomplete and uncertain. We record our observations cautiously, awaiting further exploration to reveal its true nature. Anchoring in a calm bay, the gentle murmur of the sea against the hull was a balm to tired spirits. The men prepared for landing at first light, minds heavy with anticipation and respect for the unknown. Beneath a canopy of stars, I penned these words by flickering candlelight, humbled by the vastness of the world and the fragile courage of those who dare to chart its edges. Logbook entry, December 18th, 1642. Evening. As dusk settled, the two canoes approached us. The men in them are of strong build and light brown skin, their hair tied in a knot atop their heads. They paddled close, then stopped, shouting at us in a rough, guttural tongue, a sound that was no welcome. One of the men stood and blew upon a conch shell, producing a loud, mournful blast. It was a clear challenge. Hoping to show peaceful intent, I ordered our own trumpeter to play a few notes in reply. This seemed only to agitate them further. They shouted more fiercely, and though we could not understand the words, their aggressive postures and the menacing way they held their paddles and clubs told us all we needed to know. They are wary and proud, and I sense no easy trade to be had here. After a tense hour, they paddled back to shore in the fading light, their strange trumpet call echoing across the water. A deep sense of unease has settled over the ships. We will post a double watch tonight. Logbook entry, December 19th, 1642. Moordenaars Voyage, Murderers Bay. Latitude, approximately 40 degrees 50 minutes south. Longitude, 173 degrees 1 minute east. Anchored. Weather, a grey, misty morning with no wind. The water is calm as glass, muffling all sound. The morning broke in a deathly calm, the land shrouded in a veil of woolen grey. After the tense encounter last evening, I sent our quartermaster with a cockboat and 6 men to row from the Heemskerk to the Zeehan to confer and warn her crew to be on guard. As our boat passed between the ships, one of their largest canoes, paddled by many strong arms, turned upon it with terrible speed and rammed its side with great force. The splintering timber was followed by cries as our men were thrown into the cold embrace of the sea. The natives assailed them not with arrows, but with short, heavy clubs of polished stone and wood, wielded fiercely at close quarters. From our decks, we beheld the chaos. 4 of our men fell in that grim, brutal encounter. Before we could bring our cannons to bear, the bloody work was done. Muskets cracked, but our fire found no mark. A dread silence followed, broken by the ominous approach of 11 more of their canoes, bearing down on us with grim resolve. Only then did the Zeeheim's paterero thunder forth, unleashing canister shot that tore through the foremost canoe. The war cries faltered. Their advance broke as swiftly as it came, and the canoes turned for the shore, taking their dead and wounded with them. We fled that place, hearts heavy, leaving 4 brave souls to the mercies of the deep. Henceforth, I have named this inlet Moordenaars Voyage, Bay of Murderers, a solemn warning etched in ink and blood. No commerce shall be sought here, no glory claimed. Only the harsh truth remains, that in these vast, uncharted seas, the hand extended in peace may meet the club's cruel blow, and the lives of good men may be extinguished with but a breath. Logbook entry, December 20th, 1642. Reflections after Murderer's Bay. Latitude, approximately 40 degrees 40 minutes south. Longitude, 172 degrees 30 minutes east. Weather, overcast, cold breeze, with a steady sea pushing us from the south. The dawn today is heavy with silence, the weight of yesterday's violence pressing upon us still. 4 of our men lie lost to the sea, their absence a somber reminder of the peril that shadows discovery. We are sailing north now, away from that accursed shore. I have ordered we keep a safe distance. The cannons are to remain loaded and a double watch maintained. My thoughts are restless, torn between the pride of our achievements and the bitter sting of this violent reprisal. These lands, wild and untamed, hold promises unknown, yet demand respect beyond measure. What manner of people dwell here? Our gestures of peace were met with clubs and blood. As captain, the lives entrusted to me weigh heavy, and the burden of command grows ever more solemn. We chart the coast, as is our duty, but the nature of our task has been laid bare. The sea, in its eternal rhythm, offers no counsel, only the steady turning of stars to guide our way. Farewell to a savage coast. This entry marks their final departure from New Zealand waters. Logbook entry, January 4th, 1643, the 3 Kings Islands. Latitude, approximately 34 degrees 10 minutes south. Longitude, 172 degrees 5 minutes east. Weather, strong westerly winds, high seas. For 2 weeks we have sailed north along the coast of this Staten Land. It seems to stretch on forever. Today, off the northernmost cape, we sighted a small group of steep, barren islands. Hoping for fresh water, we approached, but saw figures on the cliffs, men of great stature who brandished long clubs at us, their shouts carrying across the water. Seeing no welcome here, and having no desire to repeat the tragedy of Murderer's Bay, I have named them the 3 Kings Islands, in honor of the Feast of the Epiphany, and given the order to alter our course. We now sail northeast, into the open and empty sea. We leave this land behind with a sense of relief, having found it to be inhabited by a fierce and hostile people. Peril in Paradise. This entry covers the life-threatening danger they faced in the reefs of Fiji. Logbook entry, February 6th, 1643, a labyrinth of reefs. Latitude, approximately 17 degrees 50 minutes south. Longitude, 178 degrees 30 minutes, west weather, hazy sun, light winds, dangerously calm seas. Just as our spirits were lifted, the sea has reminded us of its treachery. At dawn, we found ourselves suddenly trapped in a labyrinth of razor-sharp coral reefs, some hidden just beneath the surface. The water, placid and clear, revealed the terrifying teeth of the coral on all sides. With the wind so light, we had little power to steer, and for hours we drifted at the mercy of the current, the sound of breakers our constant companion. By skillful use of our small boats to tow the bows around, we have, by God's grace, navigated into deeper water. I have named this treacherous place Heemskirk Shoals, a warning to all who might follow. It is a grim reminder that in these waters beauty and peril live side by side. The first peaceful encounter. This entry describes their joyous and historically significant stop in Tonga. Logbook entry, January 21st, 1643, a cordial welcome in Tonga. Latitude, approximately 21 degrees 8 minutes south. Longitude, 175 degrees 12 minutes, west weather, warm, clear, with a gentle trade wind. After 17 days in the empty wilderness of the Pacific, the sight of these low green islands is a balm for the soul, and more wondrous still, the people are friendly. Dozens of canoes have come out to meet us, the men in them calling out cheerfully and holding up coconuts and yams. For the first time on this voyage, we have been able to trade peacefully, exchanging nails and cloth for fresh water, roasted pigs, and an abundance of fruit. The relief among the crew is immeasurable. To be met not with clubs but with smiles is a feeling we had nearly forgotten. I have named the two main islands, Amsterdam and Rotterdam, in honor of our great cities. Logbook entry, March 15th, 1643, the Great Emptiness. Latitude, approximately 8 degrees south. Longitude, 155 degrees east. Weather, steady easterly trade winds, relentless sun. A month has passed since we have seen anything but this endless blue canvas, and another month before that since we felt the solid earth of Tonga. We have turned our course west now, and the trade winds are our constant companion, but they are a monotonous one. The ship's routine is the only thing that marks the passage of time. The talk among the men has quieted. The first whispers of sickness have begun, the telltale soreness of gums, a weariness in the limbs that is more than simple fatigue. We pray our course is true, and that the shores of the Indies are not as far as our hearts are beginning to fear. Logbook entry, May 20th, 1643, the Endless Sea. Latitude, approximately 2 degrees south. Longitude, 135 degrees east, north of New Guinea. Weather, oppressive heat and humidity, with maddeningly light winds. For months we have seen nothing but the sea. The joy of Tonga is a faded dream. Now, there is only the heat, the rotting timbers, and the suffering of the crew. Scurvy has taken hold. Good men who were strong and hale now lie weak in their hammocks, their gums bleeding and their joints swollen with pain. The water is foul, the biscuit is riddled with weevils, and what salted meat remains is hard as wood. We are ghosts haunting our own ships, pushing slowly west through this equatorial furnace. Every day is the same empty horizon. We pray for a wind, any wind, to deliver us from this purgatory and bring us home. Logbook entry, June 14th, 1643, the shores of Java. Latitude, approximately 6 degrees 5 minutes south. Longitude, 106 degrees 50 minutes east. Weather, hazy sunshine, a light, familiar breeze. Land, not a strange and hostile shore, but a familiar one. Today we sighted the coast of Java. The familiar sense of damp earth, wood smoke, and life hang in the humid air. Tomorrow we will enter the harbour of Batavia. The men who can still stand gather at the rails, their faces thin and weathered, staring silently at the approaching shore. The journey's end is near. We have been gone 10 months. We have charted new lands and buried good men. We have seen wonders and terrors, and now we are almost home. Logbook entry, June 15th, 1643, Batavia Harbour. As I pen these final words, the voyage stands complete. A journey through unknown seas and lands, marked by discovery and loss alike. Though we met resistance and sorrow, the breadth of the world revealed itself in wild coasts, tropical isles, and countless mysteries yet to unfold. I am humbled by the courage of the men who sailed beside me, and by the vastness of creation we have glimpsed. May these pages serve as a testament to the enduring spirit of exploration, a beacon for those who dare to seek beyond the horizon.